Do you think the film has made you sick?
Yes.
Do you think I make you sick?
Yes.
We never did the fucking video.
Oh, we're doing it right now.
Oh, God.
It's not a gay film. It's not a straight film. It's a film about men finding out, you know, where they fit into the world.
Another one-of-a-kind experience is the Chicago Underground Film Festival. Stars Ben Berkowitz and Ben Radgrave.
My name is Ben Berkowitz, and I'm the director, writer, producer, and one of the actors in the film Straight Man.
My name is Ben Redgrave. I play Jack Lester, and I'm co-screenwriter, co-producer of Straight Man.
See, that would be better than the other Ben. You want to be known as the good-looking Ben?
Yeah.
Guess what? You already are. You just don't know it. This is an important part of the making of Straight Man, is the post-production cookies.
We have now been making movies for 10 years. Now in Los Angeles, and every few years we get to have a new movie. But Straight Man is still the movie I'm the most proud of.
But then Mary couldn't decide on the proper adjective that she wanted to use, whether it was intimate or voyeuristic.
Correct. I'm having a problem with this word.
So we figured it was interesting.
Interesting.
I told Ben it was like looking in a window. It was watching in a window. It was very real. Maybe the word I'm looking for is real.
I remember really just wanting the film to have that the documentarian gets pushed around a lot, but more like something very intimate that it would be difficult for the audience to pull themselves away from, because I wanted them to feel like they were in the room.
Ben's performance is outstanding. It's why he won jury prizes, just for him, and not for me. No one cares about me.
You know, some of the humor comes out of, you know, the dialogue, you know, and the real sort of interactions. It's sort of the things that are funny in our everyday life, like getting rug burns when having sex.
And according to the festival honchos, it worked.
The realism in the dialogue, the way that this is directed and put together is just fantastic.
This version that you've just watched is great because it's so much closer to the 16mm print than any video version we've ever had.
On an aesthetic level, like, the print had been pretty dirty, and now it looks just brilliant. Like it's just shining, while still retaining that the grit and grain that I love so much as well.
We decided to show as a 16mm film because, you know, our idol is John Cassavetes, and he screened all his films on 16mm. He shot them on 16mm.
Am I going to be a little sharper in this version of the film? Because if I remember correctly, Tommy Barbie was the soft lens comic. It was nice that when you would pan to other people, they'd be nice and crisp. You come to me and there's like Vaseline on the lens or something.
I remember Ben and I being the only two people in this acting class that took it seriously.
This is at art school, folks, at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago.
I was working on some ideas to do a bigger project, and I knew I wanted to do it with Ben, and he told me he would only do it, he'd only act in it, and he'd only do it with me if he could be a big part of making it and being behind the scenes.
Well, now see, this story has been told many times, folks, where I would be, once again, the straight man to Ben's anecdote. But I remember that conversation more being about, if you do an independent study, it's kind of like you don't really have to do anything, but it's twice the credits. And so I was like, well, why don't we do an independent study with this thing, but it has to be you and me so we can both get these easy credits.
But this is where I accuse you in front of all these people of being more responsible than you let on, because not only did you do it for the credit, but you brought in Joaquin and all these great people.
True.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're clear now that you
okay.
are a producer, so you can stop
And
all that
so
nonsense.
I accept your apology.
All right. Wait, no, wait!
It started off very modest,
Yeah.
videotaping some actors, creating characters, but our acting teacher really early on said, you guys have something.
We workshopped the hell out of it, had a really good time, including a famous auto-filleting scene that I came up with.
They're going to see that in the deleted scenes.
Deleted scenes.
Go back to the, I'll just tell them right now, go to the menu and go to the deleted scenes, and you can watch Joaquin being very flexible.
It grew and grew out of this not a necessity to make a great film, but out of a necessity to tell this story that was important to us.
I had a bunch of people that I loved come out to me that year and shortly after. My brother, my best friend.
Azar baby, okay? Es mi hermano.
I'm not related to that.
Es mi hermanito jefe. Is there any conflicts politically in Straight Man's message and the Republican Party's standpoint?
I mean, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I doubt it. I mean, it's all private funding. There's no government money. Nobody's being forced to have this said. Republicans believe in free speech.
Well, there's this whole section where Ben has sex with Jerry Brown. And in a tender moment, post-coitus, they agree on most of his labor politics.
There were some ideas early on that were core ideas that when Ben's character Jack came out, that they would not hook up and fall in love. So there'd been a bunch of gay and lesbian movies at the time about a straight and a gay friendship turning into more than that. And I respect those movies, but that wasn't our experience. And I wanted to make a movie that shows like platonic love between a gay man and a straight man. And the other thing that was really important to us is that the coming out was not the big ta-da, da-da, you know.
It's not really, a coming out picture. It's about these two guys, figuring out who they really are and supporting each other.
Like, talk about how you and Joaquin, you guys were friends. You're both straight.
Yeah.
Like, talk about how you prepared for this.
I think Ben and I were so used to, we worked on a lot of, drywalling crews. You sit around, you make jokes all day because it's soul-crushing and mind-numbing. And so you make jokes. And so all day long, Ben and I would put on different roles.
Our aesthetic was just different from a lot of people. We weren't afraid to be sort of strong and masculine while at the same time being kind of really open and experimental with our lives and just having fun.
We're used to acting together. And so when he was like, yeah, you play my queer lover, I'm like, okay. It just seemed pretty normal. And so it was something I was easily able to sort of fall into. I think, I don't think we had actually, been on acid at a party and made out, but it seemed like we had.
He's pretty bad at hiding his emotions, they come across really well. I thought he would be good on camera, but also a really good partner for me to explore this part of myself in playing a homosexual man.
We'll dig up some interesting local-based films.
Like Straight Man, a film that was shot entirely in Chicago.
Set in Chicago. It was made with Chicago actors.
I had areas of the city that I knew that would look excellent on camera.
The neighborhood that we shot Straight Man in and lived in at the time doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, it's been beyond gentrified to the point beyond recognition. So in some ways, Straight Man is a preservation of that culture.
I lived that bohemian life in Chicago. We lived that bohemian life, and your film captures that kind of bohemian life. The ratty-ass Chicago apartments,
And if that's not reason enough to go see it,
you'll see my hiney if you come to see the movie.
You have hair on your ass, but it's in these weird patches.
I do not have a patchy ass.
Like a partially shaved Muppet.
A lot of people were like, that guy couldn't get all that coos, which I totally disagree with, but I would like to hear.
It. No, let's be real.
Yeah. No, I would testify.
We were roommates long after the movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben. Well, here's the thing. I'm married now. I have a beautiful, wonderful wife who's very patient, and so I'm not going to talk about my gallivanting, but I can assure you that if anything, I was very conservative in my portrayal of the straight guy.
True.
I am a very lucky man that the ladies like Ben Berkowitz.
You'd mentioned at dinner the other night, and this is something I don't think I ever talked to you about years ago when we made the film, that your mom and your sister knew nothing about you playing
That's right.
a gay man in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it at the time or later.
Why do you think that was? I mean, you're pretty close with your mom. Like, why do you think you didn't want to talk to her about that?
No, I don't think it was something conscious, really. It just seemed like sort of a normal thing as an actor to play a different kind of role. Yeah, and then my nieces and nephews actually brought it to their attention because they did the Google searches for my name, and they're like, I think they saw clips.
How did you come out to your family about the role?
Well,
you know?
it was pretty easy. My mother's a great, loving person, and I had kind of had this experience with her coming out about something that was like a life, a life-changing thing. Like, I had gotten involved in hard drugs, and I was very forthcoming with her, and so I kind of used that in my portrayal of Jack as like how it was, because it was very difficult to talk about with her, even though she is so accepting. Sure. But I used that in my performance as this hidden thing that needed to come out.
So it's still a 16mm low-budget film from 10 years ago, but I think it's more relevant than ever because even though we live in a society that's more open, you know, there's still kids, you know, coming out that feel like they're the only ones.
These first festival experiences of having people come out and say, you know, this, I had an experience very similar to this, or my aunt or my cousin or what have you, and to have like just strangers come up and hug you for going through that was amazing. It was just amazing.
No more people staring through the window.
I want to thank you all for coming out. I want to tell you, Straight Man would not have been possible without all of you, except for Wayne. That's why he's holding the camera.